Welcome back to Coding Hub, and today we are crashing down the Jetpack Compose Navigation, exploring Lambda callback function, and leveraging remember state for efficient navigation. With this, we'll be also creating two demos, specifically one on the single navigation and one on the multi navigation. Let's dive in and master Jetpack Compose Navigation. Ready to elevate your Android development skills? Let's roll. Okay, so without wasting any time, let us jump into our very first demo. And in this demo, we'll be having two screens, one sign up screen and one login screen. And we'll be looking how to navigate from one screen to another screen. Now, for much better understanding, I'll be suggesting you that you code with us so you can understand each of the concept. Now, the main thing over here is that we'll be requiring the screens. Now, for this, you can come to this package. Now, right click on this, click on this new, click on this Kotlin class file. Now select this file and name your screen. So we'll be firstly building the sign up screen. For this, we'll be naming it as sign up screen. Okay, so our screen is ready. Now, the major thing in this will be that we'll be requiring to import a lot of statement. For simplification, what I will be doing, I will be importing this statement and I will be removing all the unnecessary imports after we'll be ready with our code. Okay, now the next thing will be requiring a composable function over here. Now we'll be requiring a function. Now the function name will be simply registration screen. Okay, so we can name it as registration screen. Now the main thing over here which we'll be using to navigate is basically a callback lambda function. Now for this we can name the callback lambda function and I will be naming it on navigate to login. So whenever the particular text will be clicked, we'll be navigating to login. Okay, now over here this is basically specifying the parameters which it will accept, which is basically null for now. And the next thing will be unit, and we'll be discussing more about units in our upcoming videos. For now, unit is basically specifying here that the return will be nothing of this particular function. Okay, so we'll be returning nothing. Now the next thing will be to have our remember state. Now here we have to basically remember the email password and confirm password whenever there is a recomposition. For this we'll be having a where, and then we can simply say email, then we can say by remember. And over in this remember, what we can do, we can simply say remember, and then we can have the mutable state of. So we can simply come over here and then we can say mutable, and we can basically have mutable state of. Okay, and in this particular state we'll be passing an empty string. As for the start, it will be empty, right? Now we have to import this remember. For this we can click on this import function remember. Okay, and we have to import few more things. So we'll be importing this operator get value, then one more import which will be operator mutable state. Okay, now we are done with this. Now we'll be copying out this one and we'll be doing the same for the remaining. Okay, so the next thing will be password. So we can simply say password, and the next thing will be our our confirm password, right? So we'll be having this confirm password. Okay, now we are done with our confirm password also. Now let us start by designing our screen. Now the first thing I will be doing, I will be using a column. The reason for using this column is very simple, because we'll be aligning all of the items, the email, the password, the confirm password in in a vertical way. Okay, and for this we'll be requiring a column, right? Okay, now in this column we'll be having a modifier. So what we can do, we can come over here and we can simply say modifier, and we'll be using this one, and we can say modifier dot, and the first thing will be to fill max size. Okay, and the next thing which we can do is we can give a padding, and the padding will be of 16 dp. Okay, now the next thing will be to import this statement also. Okay, for this what we can do, we can come over here and we can come and import this. Okay, so now we have also imported this dp, and this is basically measure to it is basically a measuring tool which you can know. For now we'll be discussing more about TPSP in our upcoming videos. Okay, now the next thing will be to define our vertical arrangement and horizontal alignment. So we'll be saying vertical arrangement, then we can say arrangement, and we'll be basically using center. Now horizontal alignment, and it will be basically, we'll be aligning it to center, and we can simply say alignment dot center horizontally. Okay, now we are done with this. Now the next thing will be to create our very first text field. For this we can simply say text, text field, and in this the value will be email. Okay, and the next thing which we'll be requiring is on value change, and on value change we can simply come over here and we can say that email equals it. Okay, now the next thing will be to have our label, and we can simply say label, and in this label we'll be having a text, and the text will be email. Okay, so we'll be suggesting that we require an email. Okay, so we'll be requiring an email, and finally we are done with our very first text field. Now similarly we'll be requiring more text field. Now the text fields will be requiring one for the confirm password and one for the password. We can simply copy this out, and we can come down and we can have one for the password. So we'll be saying value password, and we can change this one also to like password, and this one also to password. Okay, so we are also done with this. Now the next thing will be to change this one to confirm password, and this one to confirm password also. We'll be saying confirm password. Okay, and this one will be also confirm password, so we can say confirm password. Okay, so we are done with our text field, and the next thing which we'll be requiring is basically the sign up button, and let us focus on the sign up button. For this, what we can do, we can come below this and we can simply say button. Okay, now in this button we'll be basically having an on click, and we'll be not defining the on click for now. Now the next thing which we'll be requiring is basically modifier, and we can provide a padding to it. For this we can come over here and we can have a comma. Okay, so just a second. Okay, so over here what we can do, we can have this, and then we can have a comma. Okay, now we can have this modifier, this one, and then we can basically say modifier dot, and then we can simply say padding. Okay, and let us give it also a 16.dp. Okay, so we are done with our this button. Now we have to basically provide a text on this button. For this we can come to this this row scope, and we can simply say text, and the text will be a simple text which will be saying sign up. Okay, and now we are done with our button also. So the next thing will be to have our text which will help us to navigate to the other screen. Right now here the text will be that already have a account. We can simply say sign in. Okay, now what we can do, we can come over here. Okay, now the next thing will be to come over here, and then we can simply say modifier, and we'll be using this modifier, and then we can simply say modifier dot clickable. Okay, and upon click what we can do, we can simply say on navigate to login. So whenever the button will be clicked, now we'll be navigating to login. Okay, now we are not having any parameters, as we have already seen that we'll be not requiring any parameter for now. Okay, now the next thing will be we can have few more things, like we can have a padding over here before this clickable. So we can simply say padding, and let us give a padding of like to the top 16.dp. So we'll be having a padding at the top which will be basically of 16 dp. Okay, so we are done with our sign up screen. Now the we'll be removing all of this because we'll be not requiring. So we should always remove this unnecessary imports. Okay, so we are done with our very first sign up screen. And let us now focus on the sign in screen. For this, we'll be again coming over here. Click on this new, click on this Kotlin, class file. Click on this file and then, name your file. I will be naming it as, we can name it as login screen. Login screen. Okay, so I am ready with my login screen now this time. Now the next thing will be to do the imports again. So let us consider this sign up screen import this time because the majority of the things will be same. Okay, so we have imported everything and we'll be removing all the unnecessary import after we are ready with our screen. Now similarly, we'll be requiring a composable function over here. Now the function name will be simply function login. Okay, so the name will be basically login screen. Okay, and over here we'll be having this on navigate to, and we can say registration. Okay, so on navigate to registration, and in this, we'll be defining that it will also accepting nothing, and then unit as the return will be void. Okay. Okay, now let us come over here and okay, so there was a spelling mistake over here. The next thing will be to have our, the remember state for email and password. Now for this, what we can do, we can come over here and simply copy this out again. So we are not required to write this again. So we can come over here and let us copy this screens, this text fields again. For this, what we can do, we can copy this column entirely and we can come to this login screen, and below this, what we can do, we can simply paste this out. Now the main thing will be that we'll be not requiring a confirm password. So we have removed this one and we are having everything, as it is. So as it was, okay? We are not defining anything for now, okay? So what will happen if we click on this login button, right? So we have to change this to login, login. And the one thing will be to, this will change to registration. Okay, so we are also done with our login screen and there was not too many things which we were requiring. Okay, now we can directly jump into our main activity. Okay, so for this, what we can do, we can come to this main activity, and over here I will be removing all of this functions as I will be not requiring any of that. We'll be removing this one also. We'll be only keeping this set content. Okay, so let us begin. So firstly, we'll be having, a remember state for the current screen, and the beginning screen will be basically current screen, I will say, and then I can simply say by remember, and then we can simply have this, saying mutable state of. And the value which I will be passing is login. Okay, so the initial screen will be basically login and we have to import these things again. So import this one, then import this one, then import this one also. Okay, so we are done with importing everything. Now the next thing will be to write our when expression. So we'll be having when and we can say current screen. Okay, so we say when current screen and we can come down over here and we can say login. Then what we can say, we can simply say that, so whenever there is a login, we can simply say login screen, and in this login screen, we can have this current screen equals registration. Okay. Okay. Now, similarly, if you'll be having another one over here, which will be our registration. So we can come over here and we can say registration. So whenever there is registration, okay, then we can come over here and we can say registration screen, and in this registration screen we'll be having current screen, and in this current screen we'll be having login. Okay, So we are also done with this. Now the next thing will be to define, if there is an invalid state. For this, what we can do, we can, or you can basically, create more screen and link them up. For now, I'll be having nothing over here. So we can simply say for handling other cases, okay, or error screen. Okay, so we are done. Now let us understand what is happening. Before that, we have to remove this all the unnecessary import statements because we'll be not requiring them. Okay, so we are not having any unnecessary import over here. We are basically having one over here, I guess. Okay, so it is not also having any unnecessary one. It is also not having any unnecessary imports. Okay, so let us minimize this and let us minimize this also. So what are we having? We are having a basic sign up screen. In this sign up screen, we are basically using a Lambda callback function, and the thing is written over here. So whenever the login screen will be called, the current screen will be changed to registration. Okay, and whenever this registration screen, or we can say this one, this function will be called, then what we will do, we'll basically change the screen to login. Okay, got it? So whenever there will be a call from sign up, it will be changed to login, and whenever there will be a call from login, then we'll be basically changing it to registration. Okay, and similarly we can handle any other cases. Okay, now let us start run our app. Okay, so it will take some time for the Gradle build to finish. Now if we simply minimize this, and now if we click on this, see, we were able to navigate to sign up screen, and if we click on this again, now we were able to navigate to login back. Now there is one more problem, and that is when we are coming to the sign in screen, we are not getting sign up over here. For this, what we can do, we can simply come to our login screen, and we have to convert this text to sign up, and we can simply say already have don't have an account. So we can simply come over here and replace this with don't have account sign up, and we can simply reapply everything. For this, we have to click on this, and now we are able to see this sign up. And now if we click on this sign up, we'll be getting this sign in. Okay, so we have achieved the basic navigation. Now the next thing will be, in the next example, we'll be seeing how to handle multiple navigation from the same screen. So it is basically a challenge to handle multiple navigation from the same screen. So in the next example, what we'll be having, we'll be basically having 3 screens, and each of the screen will be having 2 buttons, and this will basically help us to navigate to other 2 screens. So let us begin with that particular example. Okay, so for this particular example, we'll be requiring one more screen. I'll be minimizing this AVD for now, expand this project, and then again come over here, right click, click on this new, click on this Kotlin class file, click on this file and name your activity. So my activity name will be basically main screen. Okay, so we are now on our main screen, and the next thing which we'll be requiring is that we'll be requiring some import statements. So I will again copy this import statements from here, from the main activity. Okay, so it will basically make our process much easier. Now we'll be requiring a composable function, so we can simply say composable. Then the function name, we can simply have main screen. Okay, we can have this main screen, and then in this we'll be having 2 callback functions, 2 Lambda callback function. One will be on navigate to navigate to login, and we know that it will be having none of the parameters, and the return will be basically unit. Okay, now the next thing will be that we'll be requiring one more callback function. So we can simply copy this out, and the next callback function will be for the registration. So for on navigate to, we can say registration. Okay, so we are also done with this. Now the next thing will be to create the brackets, and now we'll be having a column, and in this column we'll be having few of the things like modifier for filling the max size. So we can simply say modifier dot fill max size, and then we can also give a padding of like 16.dp. Okay, and we can simply click alt enter and the dp will be imported. Okay, now the next thing will be to set up our alignments. Okay, for this we can come over here and we can say horizontal alignment dot center horizontally, and vertical alignment will be also centered, so we can say arrangement dot center. Okay, so we are also done with our horizontal alignment and vertical arrangement. Now the next thing will be to create our buttons, so we can have button over here. Now in this button we'll be requiring few of the things. Now over here, whenever this will be called, what we can do, whenever this on click will be clicked, what we can do, we can simply say on navigate to login. Okay, so the first button will be basically navigate to login. Okay, now let us focus on the remaining things. Now the remaining things which we'll be requiring is a modifier for the padding. So we can come down, just a second, having a comma, and then we'll be coming down. And over here we can have our modifier. So it will be modifier, we can simply say modifier dot padding. Okay, and the padding which we can give is 16 dp. Okay, just a second, this would be not this one. Okay, so we are having now a padding of 16 dp in this. Now the next thing will be to provide a text, and the text will be simply that we can have a text saying that navigate to login. Okay, now we'll be having another button, and with this what we can do is we can use a spacer to create a space between the buttons. So we'll be saying spacer, and in this spacer we'll be having a modifier, and what we can say modifier, and then we can say pad modifier, and then we can say padding, and we can have a padding at top of, let us give us 25.dp. Okay, so we are now having a spacer, and the next thing will be to have this button over here, and over here we'll be navigating to registration, and we can say navigate to sign up. Okay, so perfect. Now we are ready with our our main screen, and the next thing will be that we focus on our login screen. Before this we can remove this unused imports, so I'll be also removing this one. Okay, so we are now having nothing, right? Okay, perfect. Now let us move into the next thing. The next thing will be to come into this login screen, and few of the things which we will be changing is that it will be having one more thing over here, and we can have on navigate to main. Okay, and this will be also accepting nothing, and then there will be unit. Okay, unit. Okay, now what we can do is we can change this button text, and we can say like navigate to main, and then on this click here we can come down and we can say on navigate to main. Okay, so now it will basically navigate to main. So whenever this button navigate to main will be clicked in the login screen, it will basically bring us to the main screen. Okay, now the next thing will be to come on to the sign up. Now we'll be having the same thing, so we can simply copy this out. Okay, so we will be having this one only. Okay, so come down over here, have a comma, and then paste it. Just a second. Okay, so this one was selected, having a comma, and then we'll be pasting it, and we can simply call this in this button where it was. Yeah, so we can simply say navigate to main, and then over here we can come and we can say on navigate to main. Okay, so now we are also done with this, and we'll be requiring few of the changes in our main screen. So come to this main activity. Okay, now we are in this main activity. By default, what I am wanting is that the screen should be in the main. So let us keep the screen in main for now. So we can see the main screen for first. Okay, now the next thing will be to remove this one, and we can directly have this. And over here, what we can do, we can pass like on navigate to main. So whenever the it will be navigating to main, we can simply say current screen, current screen equals main. Okay, and for another one which was on navigate to registration, it will be as it was. So it will be basically current screen to registration. So we can say current screen equals, so it was registration. So we are basically putting this registration. Okay, now we will be having the same thing for registration and main. So we'll be coming down over here and we'll be simply copying this out for the remaining two. So we can have main over here. Okay, and on this we're having on navigate to login. Okay, this login screen has to go and it will be basically main screen, right? And now we are having on navigate to login. We can change it to login, and on navigate to registration, it will be registration, right? Now the next thing will be to copy the same again, and now we can copy this out because the sign up and login will be almost same. We can come down and it will be for registration. Okay, so it will be a registration screen. Just a second. So our screen name for the sign up was registration screen, right? We can simply copy this out and come down over here. You can simply paste it out over here. Okay, now over here we'll be having on navigate to main, right? And we can change the screen to main. So we are already having main, so the next thing will be to log in, right? Because we are already having this main, and in this we have to change it to login. Okay, so let us revalidate our code. So in login we will be basically navigating from main and registration, so it is perfect. And from main will be navigating to login and registration, and from registration will be navigating to main and login. Okay, so we are done with our code, and we can now run this particular code. All right, so let us apply changes and rerun. Okay, now we were able to see this thing, right? So we are able to see this navigate to login and navigate to sign up as we were loaded out with our main screen. If we click on this navigate to login, see, now we are in the login screen. And now if we click on this navigate to main, now we are in the main screen, right? And now if we click on this sign up, now we are in the sign up. And if we click on this sign in, we'll be navigating to sign in screen. See? So now, each of this activity, or we can say screen, is having two navigation. So one is to navigate to main and one is to navigate to sign up. Like clicking on this sign up, we are in the sign up, and clicking on this main in the sign up, we'll be navigating to this. Okay, so in this particular video, we were able to understand how navigation works using simple Lambda callback function and remember state. Now in our upcoming videos, we'll be also learning more about navigation. So navigation is a vast topic in Jetpack Compose and Kotlin, and there are multiple ways which we can use, and we'll be learning each of these ways as we deep dive more into our course. Now for now, what you can do, you can simply subscribe to our channel, hit that bell icon so you never miss any update from us. Till then, have a great coding journey ahead. This is Coding Hub signing off.